This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations, and I'm here today to show you how to do this Emboss Resist. This is done with heat embossing. It's got a little bit of a raised texture to it, and then I went over it and sponged ink over the top. The way I did that was to heat emboss. I'm going to start out with my embossing buddy. If you don't have one of these, you want one. It kind of takes the static electricity off of the paper and makes sure that the embossing powder only sticks where it's supposed to, which is very important because otherwise you end up with little scattered fleck marks all over the place that you really, really don't want. I'm using the Versamark ink, and I'm inking up our Thoughts and Prayers stamp set. This is one stamp set, comes in 2 boxes. And I'm doing it upside down, I don't know, just because it's easier. I make sure that I get the right amount. And then I'm going to go ahead and just stamp it onto my layer. Straight up and down, no rocking. And it's kind of sticky. I don't know if you kind of heard that. It takes a while to dry, and that gives me time to put the embossing powder on and then heat it up. So I don't know, you can barely tell. There's just kind of a little hint of where things are. But we're just going to go ahead and dump the embossing powder all over the top. I mean, it really only needs a little bit, but I'm just going to dump it everywhere, make sure we've got really good coverage. And then I usually just take a folded piece of paper, maybe another card base, and I dump it into here. Oh, look at that. A little too much on there. So that it funnels right back into the container. Now, it's probably good that that happened, that I got that little bit too much there. I don't know if you can even see it, but there's just like a little glob of too much. And I usually have little pointer things or little tiny brushes, but there's something that you can use to just kind of knock off that excess. Then I'm going to use our heat gun. And this is the new Stampin' Up! Heat tool. It's got 2 speeds, a high and a low, and we're going to go ahead and use the high. There, so I just heated it up till it all melted. Again, I don't know if you can tell, but as you move it around, you can see that it gets shiny. And that lets you know that it's all fully melted. And then we're going to sponge some ink over the top. And Stampin' Up! Has 2 ways to apply ink. We can sponge it on with one of our sponges. This was, you know, a larger one I cut down into pieces. And then we also have our sponge daubers. I like the sponge dauber. It seems to be a little more precise. You can see I did this one with the sponge dauber on white embossing powder, and I don't know, it just seems more exact. This one I did with the sponge, and it was farther away from the image than I kind of wanted. And it looked funny to be all blank, so I went around and just sponged the edges and then just dabbed a little bit of extra here and there. So it kind of all depends on the look you're going for as to what kind of sponge you're going to use. But like I said, I'm going to use the sponge dauber, and I've got my Marina Mist ink. We just dab this into here, and then you have to start off kind of careful with not quite pushing it all the way down, because if you start out pushing straight down right away, you'll get a circle, you know, the shape of the sponge dauber. And I didn't really want that. I wanted it to be a little softer. So I start out kind of gentle. And then as I start swirling, I start pushing harder in order to get more ink out of it. So we just kind of go around the image and sponge it on there. And you just get it till you can kind of, you know, read your words, see your picture, kind of get that look that you're going for. And you can do as little or as much as you want. It's all up to you. But you can see that the ink doesn't stick to our embossed areas. And then I've got my card base with another Marina Mist layer. And then I'm going to just use a little bit of adhesive and put my card together. And then, like I said, on this other one, I used a little bit of baker's twine. Just gave it a little added something. That's up to you. But there you have it. There's your Emboss Resist technique. I hope you like it. Go ahead and visit my blog for more great ideas like this, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks. Bye.